Chapter 10. Storm Between the Shelves. The rain had started as a soft drizzle by noon, but by the time the final bell rang, it had thickened into a steady, rhythmic downpour that drummed against the school windows like a restless heart. Alara didn't mind the rain. It drowned out the world. Inside the library, everything felt suspended, the lights glowed faintly golden, muffled footsteps echoed against the polished floors, and the occasional ruffle of turning pages sounded louder than it should. She sat at the far end, near the window, a stack of old club records between her and Kieran. He was flipping through them, head bent, his pen tapping lightly against a clipboard. His tie hung loose, shirt sleeves rolled up. He looked comfortable, like he belonged here. And in a way, so did she. She hadn't thought much of Kieran before this semester, but after he was assigned to the same student club, they shared brief exchanges and casual laughter. Nothing deep, nothing tangled. Just calm. He was easy to talk to. He didn't look at her like she was strange or unreadable. He didn't make her remember. She adjusted her glasses and pointed at a form with a small frown. That one's missing a signature. Probably last year's president. Kieran leaned closer. You sure? Thought that was the vice. Alara's lips twitched. You're right. Guess I'm the one who needs better eyesight. He grinned. Or a break. You've been helping me for an hour straight. Want me to go grab a tea from the staff room? She hesitated, but then nodded. If you're offering. Kieran got up, slipping his blazer over one arm. Be right back. Alara exhaled quietly as he left. She turned back to the window. The rain blurred the outside world into a watery painting. The scent of old books, paper, and petrichor soaked the air. She reached for a pen. And froze. A familiar figure had just stepped inside the library. Tall, careless posture, a book tucked under his arm, rainwater clinging to his jacket. Aidan Cross. Alara stiffened. Their eyes met, for the briefest second, across the space. His froze too, and then, too casual, too rehearsed, he turned away, pretending to scan the shelves. She watched his shoulders tense. He had no reason to be here. No test, no assignment. Except for the storm maybe. Or maybe not. Alara didn't speak. Neither did he. But the air shifted. Aidan moved through the rows with forced calm, fingers trailing along spines he wasn't reading. He was pretending not to glance in her direction. She could feel it, the way his presence pressed against her skin. He finally stopped at a shelf near her table, pulling out a random book. Didn't even glance at the title. You always study in the library when it rains? He asked, voice low. Alara didn't look up. I didn't know you read anything without pictures. Silence. Then a short breath of a laugh. Dry. Fair. She finally looked at him. The storm framed his figure through the window behind him. Hair damp. Jaw tense. But his eyes weren't laughing. You here for a reason? She asked, tilting her head. He shrugged. Just returning a book. His fingers tightened around the one he was holding. Alara leaned back in her chair. I think the Dropbox was near the door. Not beside my table. There it was, a flicker. A heartbeat of hesitation. He stepped closer. I saw you with Kieran, he said, his voice quieter now, strained. Something flickered through her, like the thinnest crack in her calm. I help people when they ask, she replied. You should try it sometime. Aidan's jaw worked. He's engaged, he muttered. Alara blinked. And I just thought. No, she cut in, rising from her chair, slowly, carefully. You don't get to think things about me anymore, Aidan. You made it clear I was just background noise. He didn't reply. Thunder rolled softly outside, like a warning. You walked away, she continued, voice steady but sharp. That day in the art room, you said things no one else saw. Then you vanished like I was just air. His throat bobbed. I was scared, Alara. She stepped forward, breath trembling, but eyes dry. Of what? Of you, he said, simply. Silence. I saw something in you that day, Aidan whispered. And I didn't know what to do with it. You weren't supposed to see through me like that. I wasn't ready. You think I was. Her voice cracked now, just a little. You were the first person who ever made me feel like I wasn't invisible. And then you left me in that silence. Aiden's gaze dropped. I've thought about that day more times than I can count. At night, in my dreams, wondering if I ruined something before it even began. Alara laughed, bitter, soft. You didn't ruin it, Aiden. You erased it. He looked up at her then, and his eyes were full. The library was too quiet. The storm outside blurred the world. And in the center of it, two people stood with too many words and too much history between them. He stepped closer, slower now. Can I fix it? She didn't answer right away. The silence stretched, thick and aching. Then, not with a kiss, not with a confession, but with a subtle, almost trembling movement, she stepped into him. And he wrapped his arms around her. It wasn't passionate. It wasn't dramatic. It was real. Two people who had hurt and wondered and stayed silent for too long. Alara buried her face in his shoulder, just for a moment. Aiden held her like he didn't know how to let go. No promises. No titles. Just the start of something finally unspoken. Behind them, the rain kept falling, steady, rhythmic, and patient. Dash dash dash.